Hey friends, Kylie here, your host of Dream On with Kylie Ohlmiller, back for season 6 of the Dream On podcast. I am so excited to be here today for another episode with a fellow former Seawolf, a current star on the pro and international stages, and one of the speediest players in the game. Thank you, as always, for tuning in. These episodes are recorded from a live Zoom webinar that I hold through the KO17 Lacrosse app and are constructed into this Dream On podcast that you have found here. I hope you are gaining some insight from these episodes from some of the people that I've met throughout my lacrosse journey who have imposed so much of their wisdom on me. If you're loving our episodes so far, show us some love in the reviews and rate us 5 stars. Also, be sure to SUBSCRIBE. It would mean the world to us. All right, we've got another special guest this week, and I'm so pumped to get right into it. Ellie Masera is here with us today for this episode, and for those of you who don't know, Ellie and I both played collegiately for Stony Brook, but our playing careers unfortunately never overlapped while we were there. Ellie is a star emerging at the highest levels currently, playing for Athletes Unlimited professionally, and making a mark in her international career with Team USA on the sixes and field training team rosters. If you've ever watched Ellie play, you know she's a speedster who just makes the game look so effortless, the most difficult plays seeming to come easy to her time and time again, on the draw circle, in the midfield, and just weaving through defenders on the offensive end. But as we come to notice in talking through her journey on this podcast, she puts the work in when nobody is watching. She comes from a family whose passion surrounds the game of lacrosse, and she ultimately is a competitor that strives for success for her team, no matter the circumstance. It was very intriguing for me to dive deeper into Ellie's story on this episode, and I feel closer than ever to my fellow Seawolf. I hope you can grab some inspiration from her too. Let's get into it. All right. Welcome back, everybody, to the Dream On podcast. I'm your host, Kylie Ohlmiller. Today, we have a very, very special Seawolf guest. Ellie Masera is here. I'm so excited to have Ellie here on the podcast. Ellie is a former Seawolf, just like myself, Stony Brook Lacrosse 2024 graduate. She was a Tewaaraton finalist while she was there. She was also a 3-time All-American, a 3-time Conference Midfielder of the Year in both the CAA and the America East. All the craziness over there. She holds the draw control record with 388 at Stony Brook. She plays for Team USA on the sixes team. She's played on the training team as well. She played in the sixes tournament in 2022 in Alabama as well. And she is currently the assistant coach at Notre Dame. So Ellie, I'm so excited to dive into it, but thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me. Super excited to be here and chat it up with you.
Yeah, I love it. Okay. We always like to start off to a good start. So where you're at right now in this moment of recording. So for reference, it is Tuesday, October 22nd, 2024 at around 2:30 p.m. You are back home on Long Island for fall break. What is something that you're thankful for today?
Definitely my family. I think being in Indiana, it was definitely tough being away from them as much as Notre Dame is my family now. Like, I'm super grateful to have them. It's been such a great opportunity. I'm super happy there every day. I come to work with a smile on my face, ready to get after it. But definitely being home for my family this week is something I'm super grateful for. Have the whole week here. So that's awesome.
And it's beautiful weather out, which is
it's
so nice.
Awesome.
Beautiful.
I'm like hoping to hit up a pumpkin patch or something.
You gotta get your apple picking in, or see the foliage, all the good stuff. I love it. Okay, it's 2:30 in the afternoon. What's something that you're proud to say that you've accomplished so far today?
I got my passport done actually this morning. Yeah, my sister's turning 16, so we're going on a cruise for her birthday. So I got my passport done, which was really something that I needed to get off of my to-do list. That was great. And then I just got lunch with my dad, which was awesome. So yeah.
Oh, I love that. Is that your first passport or you were renewing it?
Yeah, no, my first passport ever.
First passport. Oh my gosh. So you're going on a cruise. Where is going to be technically the first country you're going to go to?
I have no idea, honestly. It was kind of like a last minute thing, and I was like putting off my passport, so I haven't really gotten to the nitty gritty of where we're going. My dad was like, "We're going on a cruise. We got to get you a passport." I was like, "Okay, great." I haven't even asked any questions. Just all right. I got to get my passport done when I get home.
Well, I think you're going to need that, seeing as there's some big opportunities coming up in the next couple of years for international lacrosse too. So, check.
Yeah, check.
I love that. Okay, what's something you're pumped to go out and chase? It could be like with the rest of this week, could be in the coming months, in the coming years. What's something you're pumped to chase?
Um, I am pumped to chase. I guess just getting into my routine with working out now that I'm a college coach. I get to work out with the girls, which is really nice. But just getting that routine done and then being able to like be ready for the November showcase and for US, I feel like that's something that I'm like really pumped to go out and get after. Got to play lacrosse with my little sister yesterday, which was really great. We'll probably play with her every day this week. So I guess just getting better in lacrosse with my little sister who's now entering her junior year. Well, she's in her sophomore year, but she's entering that September 1st year. So getting her ready for that and getting me ready for US, I guess.
I love it. No, it's the next steps of everybody's journey, That's really cool. I can't believe she's that old already. I'm sure it's flying for you too, but that's
100%.
crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, so you mentioned a little bit about your life now at Notre Dame. It's very new. It's only a couple months in, right?
Yeah.
What are some of the things happening right now that get you out excited to attack your days? Like, what does a typical day in your life look like right now?
Wake up, I go to the office, do some film, and then sometimes we'll have practice early in the morning, which is so nice. So if I'm not getting in to do film, I'm getting in to go after practice. And we have like beautiful sunrises. Like Arlotta's like right, like you could see like the sunrise right on Arlotta, which is so beautiful. So that really gets me excited. And then the girls are just so great. I mean, like they are so bright. I mean, they go to Notre Dame, so they have to be bright, but they're like just so smart in lacrosse too. So they're excited to learn. So I guess that gets me going, like gets me excited to like attack the day is like being able to have the opportunity to teach them because they're so eager to learn. Um, and just interacting with them is such a great dynamic, and my staff has been great. I have Caroline Colonel, Chris Halfpenny, Lauren Benner, and then Allegra is our director of ops, and they're just such great people, and they have so much knowledge of the game. So I guess literally just learning from the people around me. And then after practice, I'll go back into the office. We'll practice plan, do all that stuff, and then I'll go home and see my cats. Sometimes go to dinner with Colonel or all of them.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's so much fun. We're definitely going to get into the cat story because I know that is the most recent story for USA Lacrosse. So I can't wait to dive into that. But what I guess you mentioned this too, like it's brand new. So you're trying to figure out your workout routine. You're trying to figure out, you're in a brand new place as well. So I guess what are some of like those biggest challenges that you've noticed so far just graduating in May, and then kind of figuring out like what are the next steps in life? Like, did you always know you wanted to college coach? Was that a step for you? And then just ultimately, yeah, figuring out like, oh my gosh, I'm out of college. What's next for me?
Yeah, I think everyone goes through like the post grad blues, where like you're not really sure exactly where you want to be, where you want to go. I know there was a lot of stress last year, my senior year. I was like, I don't know where I'm going to be next year. Like, I don't have a job lined up, but like I know I want to coach. So figuring that out was really stressful. But luckily the Notre Dame position opened up. I applied. Chris was great. Flew me out in the middle of AU. So I had one day where I flew from like I took 2 flights to South Bend, which were connectors, and then like 5 hours later I was on a flight home. So that was a crazy story in itself. But yeah, the biggest challenges is just like getting through like the newness of not being in that same routine that I've had for the past 4 years. It's similar routine, but I'm on the other side of it now. So now there's factors that like I didn't even think about when I was a player that I'm like, oh my gosh, like yeah, the coaches had to do this every day. And it's so exciting. Definitely overwhelming. I think everyone can say that when they get out of college. They're like, oh, I'm so overwhelmed. But I'm surrounded by such incredible people every day. They make it so much easier. And they help me a lot with that aspect of it. And then The biggest challenge is probably trying to figure out when I'm going to work out. Because I do get to do some stuff with the team, and like when they lift, I'll lift too. But trying to figure out like that footwork piece where like I can't be doing that in the middle of practice. I got to find time outside of practice to do that. So I think I've gotten it down pretty good. But I think that was definitely my biggest challenge, is like trying to prioritize my like exercise,
Right.
as well as like balancing my sleep and like getting in like my food and all that stuff, as well as like being like a great coach for the girls that come to practice every day. And so yeah, trying to figure out how I'm gonna prioritize that instead of
Yeah.
just go by the flow, go to practice, go home. So yeah.
That's so important.
Yeah.
That's so, so important. And it's like, I remember, right out of college, that was the hardest thing for me too, because it was, when you're a college athlete, you wake up and like your schedule's written for you. You
Mhm.
know that you're going to go there and you're going to get X amount of hours of practice. You're going to get your lift. You're going to get your treatment. You're going to, get taken care of. So,
Mhm.
and then all of a sudden you graduate and you're technically playing at a higher level. You're,
Mhm.
a professional, you're an international athlete, but you don't have those resources. You have to like go out and find them. So
Yeah. Got to
I
plan
think
it
it's really
yourself.
interesting. Yeah, yeah. And play yourself and like, you know, train yourself again and like find that kind of internal motivation a little bit.
Mhm.
It's
Absolutely.
really cool that you say that you're able to like find a little bit of that like within the team dynamic too,
Mhm.
so that you're not completely alone with it because it's definitely hard.
Yeah, absolutely.
So thinking all the way back, and I know you're there right now visiting family for fall break. So you grew up in Eastport, New York on Long Island.
Yes.
What was your intro to sports like, and where did you find lacrosse along that way?
I think lacrosse is like in my DNA when I was born. A bunch of like two of my or three, maybe four of my uncles played lacrosse in college. And so I literally opened my eyes and there was lacrosse surrounded by me. Kaylee and Kelsey, they're my cousins. They're a bunch of years older than me. They played for USC. They grew up right down the street from me. And then Emily plays lacrosse. She's 2 years older than me. She's my sister. And then Allie's 2 years younger than me. Katie's 6 years younger than me, all lacrosse players. And then obviously on the other side, we have the boys, which is Michael and Ryan. They both play lacrosse too. So we would have, again, like I said, they grew up like literally down the street. Michael's across the street from me. So we would have like family barbecues and just like throw the ball around in the backyard. It would get nitty gritty out there. But
I'm
but yeah,
sure.
yeah, it was crazy, but it was good. It made me tougher. So yeah, lacrosse was just always around me. But yeah, I kind of fell in love with it like right away. I remember my first practice, like looking way back, my first practice in kindergarten, like I have like a clear memory of this. Is like I
Oh,
walked on that field and I wouldn't let go of my dad's like leg because I was like, I'm not playing this sport. I hate this sport. Like I haven't even picked up a stick yet. But I was like, I'm not playing this sport. I hate this sport. And he had to drive me home. My mom had to bring me back and be like, you're playing. And then after that, it was like I loved it. And I was like, I don't know why I made such a big deal out of the first practice. It's kind of fun to like run and chase the ball and like I don't know, scoring goals. That was always fun. So
oh, is
um,
it?
so yeah, and then I would just practice my dad a bunch. I would like drag him out at all times of day, just be like, no, you have to like throw it really hard at me. So I had to like catch everything.
I love
um,
that.
yeah, so I kind of like I just had that competitive drive in me where I was like so obsessed with it and it just never went away. And then I had people around me that could play with me, like my sisters and my cousins. So yeah, that's my story of lacrosse.
And what was it you think that like about the game, like specifically that you liked? Was it the like, the speed of it, or was it, the creativity in it? Or like what was it about lacrosse that you were like, okay, this is the sport for me, and I know I want to play this at a high level as you got older and older?
Yeah, I think it was the opportunity because I was surrounded by people who loved the sport. And so I think it made me love the sport too. Like when you would look up to people, like I looked up to Kaylee and Kelsey and and they loved the sport so much. I was like, yeah, this is pretty sick. Like this is a really special thing. And I get to hang out with them while I'm doing this special thing. And I think that connection, and then the connections that it's brought me really like made me respect the game even more. Like I go to these USA events and I get to see people that I love all the time. I get to coach at high level with the girls that want to learn, and it's like I get to meet so many people through this sport. So yeah, and the speed too. I mean, at that point, it was like stop and go. Every time the whistle blew, you had to stop. It was like red light, green light. but but
Now
yeah,
it's better.
it's definitely a little better now. But yeah, I think like the team aspect of it was so great. And yeah, like the connections you make through this sport is like truly incredible. Like I wouldn't be talking to you right now if we didn't have like this Stony Brook connection, and like we hadn't like, I don't know. I think it's just great.
No, I completely agree with you. It's done so many things for, my life and my career as well too, right? The relationships, friendships, memories, opportunities, like all of it. So, yeah, when we're like super little like that, it's more of just this like, I don't know, idolization where you see someone, you're like, "Ooh, that's really cool. They love that much. I want to love something that much. That'd be cool if it was the same thing."
Yeah.
And I love that was that for you and your family. It was lacrosse.
Yeah.
So yeah, and this is, Stony Brook's not too far away from home for you. What was your journey to finding, Seawolf Nation as
Yeah.
a college spot?
Yeah. So the first time I like talked to Stony Brook, basically, I was at Under Armour for the uncommitted games, and coach was there, Coach Joe Spallina. I call him coach. You call him coach. Everyone calls him coach, but just to be specific,
Just so you guys know,
just so the listeners know, coach is Joe Spallina. And coach ended up like reaching out to me, and then I went on my visit, and I was like, this is really sick. Like I get to play lacrosse, be surrounded by people, like my family can come to every single one of my games, and they had like I wanted to be a PA. That still might be in my future if I ever get out of college coaching, but then I was like, yeah, they have a great degree. Like I would get a great degree there. Or they have the hospital right there. Like this is like pretty sick. And then everything kind of just lined up where I was like, this is a great place. I'm going to be coached by such incredible coaches. And then like just you like it's so cliche, but like you walk on campus and like you get like the feeling. They're like, oh, like you'll get the feeling when you know. And like I totally did. I walked on campus and I was like, this is like it for me. Like I'm gonna love this place. And then I ended up loving it more than I thought I was going to. Not that not that there was any ever doubt, but like seriously, I had a great 4 years there.
That's awesome. And, I think that's so funny too, because like I talk to a lot of girls in the recruiting stages, right? And it's always the same advice. Like, you'll know, I promise. When you step on campus, you'll know, like I can belong here and this could be my home. It's probably the most frustrating piece of advice to hear when you're in the middle of it.
Yeah. No, absolutely. You're like, how am I supposed to know? But then you get the feeling and you're like, this is what they're talking about.
Got it. Okay, they weren't lying to me, but it sucked in the moment when they said it. That's so funny. But yeah, it's true. And I had a very similar, story with it too, where I also grew up on Long Island. I'd never really been there to the campus. So like when I was like, oh, it's just down the street kind of thing, like you can't really expect too much from it. But then when you get there and you can see the vision, and obviously a lot of that vision came true for you too, with the team and the success and the personal success you had as well. But yeah, tell me a little bit about that journey while you were at Stony Brook. Your couple years at Stony Brook. One of my favorite questions to ask, I'm kind of skipping over one here and then we'll go back, but one of my favorite questions to ask is like some of your favorite traditions or some of the things in the locker room or on the bus rides or things that you think about, like it'll be 50 years from now, you think back, you're like, yeah, that's Stony Brook lacrosse. I remember those things.
My freshman year, we had gotten to a hotel and like we were in our meeting room and they like were like, all right, like freshmen, bring it in really quick. You guys have to do karaoke. And so we had put the headphones on and everyone had to take their turn. The transfer had to go. So I think that's one of my favorite traditions. It was like mortifying as a freshman. You're like, I just got here. I don't even know what's left and right. I don't know where my classes are. And now I have to sing in front of these group of people that I just want to impress. And so It's a funny tradition. We ended up doing it like a bunch of times on the bus throughout my years there. So that was great. What else? What's another tradition? Oh, obviously the our anthem after we win. Ain't no mountain high enough. Got to play that one. That one's always got to be
Yeah.
at the top of the list. That's a great thing. One of my favorite times we did that was like when we would win CAAs or America East, we would play it on our speaker. Like when it was home, like my senior year, it was home, and like they ended up playing it on the loudspeaker, which was really fun. And we got
Oh,
to
like in the stadium, they played it. That's awesome.
yeah, that was awesome. And then our little like victory lap at the end of the game where we run to the 50 and then like say hey to the fans. That's always fun. Yeah, those are a couple traditions that like will definitely play in my head.
Yeah, and I love that. It's cool because we are fortunate we kind of have similar ones, even though we never got to play together. We have similar like traditions like that because we played for the same program. But everyone I have on here, like I get to hear about like Syracuse's or Northwesterns or UNC's.
Yeah.
Wouldn't care about them while I was at Stony Brook, but now that they're like friends, right? It's kind of interesting to hear, like, oh, okay, that's what they were doing while we were doing this. That's cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is kind of like a full circle thing. But okay, so tell me a little bit about maybe some high and low moments. I feel like a lot of what we talk about here on the Dream On podcast has to do with maybe setbacks or moments of success and how they kind of like intermingle and how they kind of shape our journeys and our stories. So I guess like what would you say are some of your high moments and some of your low moments that you can kind of remember from your time at Stony Brook that shaped your journey a little bit?
Yeah. I'll start off with the low moments that we can end on a high note. I'm very like thorn before the rose person, but my sophomore year was definitely the hardest year for me. I had like my closest uncle, he was diagnosed with cancer. So he was going through his treatments and stuff while I was in season. And then my uncle Dick, who's like my great uncle, who was like a grandpa to me, he ended up passing away. And then on Easter Sunday of my sophomore year, my house burnt down. So there was like when it rains, it pours, like bad things come in threes, like totally hit me at that moment. We ended up having to like leave my house, lived in a rental for a year. And then my uncle ended up passing away, my uncle Scott. So that was really tough. But yeah, I had a great support system. The coaches were so accommodating to me. The players were like even better. They were just my sisters throughout that entire time, just like because it was in season. So it was tough, but I had my family supporting me. And yeah, I had a great support system, but it definitely took a long time for me to come to terms with all of that. I feel like you never really hear about like the house burning down or anything like that. Like that's not it's not as common as like you see on the TV shows, and you don't know unless you go through it. But like it really is like you lose your sense of home. Like I was like so close to home, but I wasn't quite there because it wasn't there anymore. So that was like a mental blocker for me. It was really hard. But my like your home is where your people are, right? So like that's what I kind of leaned on, and it got me through. And then yeah, and then it ended up like working out where we were able to move back in. So I'm here now. But yeah, losing my uncle, that was definitely like that affects me like on a day-to-day basis. He'd walk into a room and he would just make people smile. He was just had that aura about him, was always the funniest guy in the room, didn't even try to be. Raised incredible kids in Keely, Kelson, Ryan, and my auntie is just an angel and a saint all combined together. Like they're just great people. So I was trying to be there for them while I was grieving too, because I couldn't even imagine what they were going through if I was having such a hard time with it. But we all supported each other, which was great. And we all had a great support system around us and our respective teams like USC, and Stony Brook, and then Binghamton because Emily was there. So yeah, I don't know. That was definitely the lowest moment of my 4 years at Stony Brook. And then it went up from there. And it was
fact that, can I just, I mean, intervene for a second because I mean, you had a sophomore season that would never on the outside, tell the outside world that you were going through all of that on the inside. So I just have to say that, obviously it was definitely tough for you. And it just kind of like for our listeners, right? You never know what people are going through, even if on the outside they seem like they have it all together. So thank you for sharing that because I think it's really, really important just in the overall grand scheme of things.
Thanks. Yeah, absolutely. I tried to not let it affect me that much. I think it definitely hit me like later on, like once our season ended, it was kind of like, oh God, this actually did happen. Like I wasn't in a video game or like a virtual reality. Like this is actually what I'm going through right now. But everyone around me was so great. I mean, I have friends that'll last a lifetime at Stony Brook, who are all there for me. They all, like, when my house burned down, they got me like a bunch of gift cards and stuff like that. And they just were so great about the whole thing. And I don't know, but you get through it. It's really hard, and you talk about it a lot, even though you don't want to talk about it. But you have to, because you have to get it out. And you just lean on the people around you. Like, they're going to be understanding when they really care about you. So I think that's definitely my biggest advice would be just take help when you need it. Like, it's okay to ask for help. Like, it's okay to say you're not doing okay, but like be proactive and like talk about it. And like, whether it's therapy or whether it's the people around you, like definitely utilize your resources to get you back on track, because you will get back on track. But it's not something like, don't like bury it.
Yeah, don't take it lightly. And I think that's like incredible, incredible advice. So thank you again for saying that too, because that's also really hard, to put yourself out there. So I hope a lot of us listening can like take that advice when we're down in a certain way. So I appreciate that a lot. And do you love watching sports highlights? Then you need 5-Star, the world's first sports highlight rating app. Think TikTok, but just for sports. Register as an athlete or as a fan to view and rate sports highlights of all sports, all in one place. 5-Star is a positive network of athletes from all skill levels to share their performance and get rated by peers, coaches, and community. Download 5-Star and post your highlights. Follow me at Kylie and rate my highlights, but please be kind. Available in the Apple and Google Play stores. Learn more at 5starapp.com. I also want to hear about these highs because I know there was a lot of them.
I was just going to say, let me flip the note to a great high moment. I think one of my favorite memories from Stony Brook was definitely beating Cuse in the Dome. I think there's no energy like beating Cuse in the Dome. That was this past year, and we ended up going into overtime. We were down, we tied it, or no, we were tied. We went up, they came back in like the last 10 seconds. So then we went into overtime, and then we ended up getting a goal, and like everyone was like trying to rush in the field, and we were like, no, you can't, they have to check the stick. And I like will never like forget like being in this huddle with like this, like the people like on offense, and just waiting for them to see, like give it a go, like be like, yeah, and they gave it a go. We were all like, oh my god, oh my god, the energy was just infectious in the Dome. Like it was crazy. We all like were just on such a high. It was so incredible. That was definitely my favorite moment, like by far.
It's like, it's a storied program in Syracuse, right? So when you go into, I guess, can you tell us a little bit about like being technically the underdog in those games? Like we technically are, right? At Stony Brook, when you go into a game like that, no matter what our ranking is in that year, like we're always going to be that underdog in those games. So I guess like what does the mentality look like in the locker room and for you personally, like heading into a game like that where the underdog mentality is really raw?
Yeah, I think coach tries to stay away from the underdog mentality, but I think it's good to have like a chip on your shoulder with that. Like feel like, yeah, like we don't want to be the underdogs, but like sometimes we are. Like we have to be. Like there's always gonna be like an ACC team that they're gonna be like they're gonna win that game. Like just because of the conference they're in, like And like years past, like we've beaten Cuse before in the dome, but like everyone's always like, oh no, Cuse will win that game. Cuse will win that game.
Right.
So like going into that game being like, they think it already, like let's prove them wrong. Like I feel like there's no better like juice to get you going than like let's prove them wrong. Like why not us? And I feel like that was our mantra for like this past my senior year was like we would always just be like, why not us? Why not us? So
I
yeah,
love that.
I think that like juiced us. Like in the locker room, we were like, screw it, like let's just do it. Like let's just win. And then we ended up winning and we were all like, oh my God, I can't believe that happened.
That's awesome. I loved like seeing those t-shirts, right? Like why not us? And I knew exactly what it meant, just kind of like that feeling, that understanding of why not? There's literally nothing to lose. Like
Yeah.
let's just put it all out there. And yeah, I was in the stands for that game because it's close to where I live now here in Rochester. So I came and it was so legit. It was just like, I don't know, those lacrosse games that just make you re-fall in love with the game all over again, even though you're already in love with it. You're just
Yeah.
like, I was sitting there as a fan and like an alum, and I was
You're
just like,
stressing and you're like sweating.
yeah.
You're like, oh my
I'm
gosh,
like,
who's gonna
I
win?
see the camera over there. I was like, get this camera off me. I'm starting to like yell things. Like there's just too much happening. And then you
Yeah.
scored a game winner in overtime too. I love that. I have to point this out as well. Like you're telling this story a couple minutes ago and you said, yeah, we got the overtime winner. Like, no, you got the overtime winner, girl. But I love the humility in it. And that just goes to show like what kind of person you are, and what kind of teammate you are, and also, what kind of team you played for, right? You guys all took so much pride in winning those big games, and that's Stony Brook for you. So yeah, I love that. I love that memory, and I was so glad I was there to jump up and down in the stands for that one. So thanks for putting the ball in the back of the net at the end there.
Of course, doesn't happen with the 6 other girls around me though. Like Morgan's got to pass me the ball, Art's got to be occupying on the other side. So it's definitely not just one person, and that's why I say we, because it doesn't happen without everyone else moving without me and around me.
I love it. I love that. Something for our listeners to take too. Okay, you graduate. You're going on to play professionally in Athletes Unlimited this past summer, in 2024. What goes on? What goes through your head when you get drafted and you're kind of like thinking about those moments on, stepping onto the field and getting, paid to play the game that you love?
Yeah, I think it's like the highest honor. I mean, like this professional league is so new, but like you have to be like you have to be excited. Like you're playing professional lacrosse. This is the things you dream of when you're a kid. And I had like the greatest like memory because we were on the bus when I got drafted. So we were all like, oh, let's turn on the draft. And I was like stressing out about it. I was like, no, I don't want to turn it on. Like, I don't know. I don't know how this is gonna work. And so they ended up putting it on and we were all watching, and then my name had gotten called and everyone just went hype, and I was like, oh my God, this is like the greatest thing. Like I could have been watching this like alone in like my hotel room, but like it ended up like that we were on the bus and like everyone was surrounding me, and like you just felt the love. Like I don't get drafted without all of these girls around me pushing me every day. So like being surrounded by the people that brought me there was like just unreal. And then I had like coach in front of me who obviously coached me up for the past 4 years, Sid, Greg. And yeah, and it was just great. And I think the bus drivers were definitely like, what's going on back there? But it was awesome. It was a great memory. They ended up like posting that on Instagram, and I don't know, it was just great.
Yeah.
It was awesome. But yeah, and then
it's cool. It's like that full circle moment, like you said, like you get to be surrounded by those people and you're not just kind of celebrating that next milestone alone. You're with your people. So
yeah.
what goes through your head after everything? I know it's like a bittersweet ending, right? When you graduate, and the Stony Brook career is over, but then just a couple weeks later, it's like shifting mindset gears, and then all of a sudden you're playing in your first pro games,
Yeah.
What was that feeling like, and how did you like kind of feel like you had to mentally prepare for that shift?
Yeah, it was all the emotions. I was devastated when we lost. It was awful. Like I spent the last 4 years working for this team and being surrounded by the girls that I love, and like that knowledge of like I'm not gonna ever play with these girls ever again. Like this team, like you go through it every year where like the people graduate and you're like, I'll never play with that, like those girls again. So that was really hard, but I was looking forward to AU because I got to hang out with you, and then I got to play with Allie again, and then Hart got drafted, so I got to play with another one of my Seawolves again. So I was super excited. I think that was what really flipped it in for me of being like, this isn't that different. Like it's lacrosse.
Yeah.
Like I get to play with great people, and then I would potentially get to play with Casey Choma, who I played with in high school because we went to the same high school. So I was like, this is going to be so great. And then I get to play with people like Izzy Scan and Charlotte North who won the tour and we're like pretty like decorated players like all around the world. Like people know their names all around the world. So I was definitely excited. Again, bittersweet just because I knew that I wasn't going to take the field with the same girls I did for the past 4 years, but I was super excited for the new opportunity to play with people that I haven't played with before and like not like get knowledge from them and like I don't know. I was just excited to like learn from them. Like yeah. And Sam Apuzzo played on Top Gun, so I was like really excited because we have that.
There was so like when you look through the league, there's so many connections, when you like actually go into like the details of it and you think back who they played for club, for high school, actually we might have played together one random weekend at like schoolgirls in ninth grade. It's just like stuff like that. Like it's cool to go through that. And yeah, like there's that extra like level of like connection. I'm sure you had, different experiences with that this summer too.
Absolutely. And then like the people that I've played with US before, I was like super excited to play with them again. But yeah, so I think that's what really like pushed me to like be super excited for it. Like, cause I was super excited for it. I was like, this is AU. Like, this is pro lacrosse. Like, so sad that my season ended, but super excited to learn from the girls around me. In the league.
I love that. I have to ask you about this because I keep hearing you say it too. Like when you're playing at Stony Brook, when you're playing at AU, when you're, out on the field with Notre Dame now, right? Coaching, I feel like I keep hearing you say, like, I just want to like learn. I want to soak it all up. I want to, has it always been you? You've always wanted to be that person that like soaks up everything you can while you're at a practice or while you're in a certain environment and then try to add it to your game or try to implement it in a certain way?
Absolutely. I think you have to be a student of the game at all times. So even as a coach, I'm like I was taught one way for 4 years and it was so great. And then like getting another perspective from Chris at Notre Dame has been sick because I'm like, I played for 4 years, but now I'm on the other side and I'm learning how to teach what I play. So that's like been really cool. And I was actually talking to Casey about this at Sixes because I'd had my hands caught and I was trying to pass the ball to her. And it took me an extra second to get my hands back up to give her the ball. And I was like, oh my gosh, like this is like one of those moments in practice where I'm like, I want her to pass the ball, but like her hands are stuck. So like, it's just funny that like, I'm like in the middle of like playing and I'm like thinking about how I would coach this.
Yeah.
So I think it's like been super fun to like apply what I'm learning from Chris and what I've learned from the past 4 years into my game now and like flip my head a little bit, like learning from the sidelines of being like, oh, like they see this, like how can I show them what I see from the sideline and have them utilize that? And then like utilizing that in my game where I'm like, I saw this from the sideline, I have to be able to do this and this, you know what I mean? So it's been really cool to like learn from the sideline and like teach from the sideline.
Yeah, so many players say that, right? Like so many, I'm sure, like as you are talking to more and more, of our peers from AU and US, right? Like there's so many like college coaches who play professionally and play on the international level. So everybody's like has a very similar answer where it's like, yeah, actually coaching makes me a better player. It's
Absolutely.
like that's such an interesting thought, but when you explain it and you like actually get to understand why and you feel it, it makes a lot of sense. So you explained that really, really well too, because I could totally understand what you were saying, right? Like hands are jammed up, but I can't get the pass off. And I would be yelling at you from the sidelines, but like, I was in the situation, like
oh gosh.
So true. Wait, so before we kind of get into a couple other coaching things, I want to know what one of your best memories from your first summer at AU was. Can you give us a story?
Yeah, so first week of AU, we had off on the weekend. So I ended up going to watch my sister play in Delaware. And so I leave after she plays. And a couple hours later, she comes in and she goes, Ellie, I have to show you something. And I was like, what's going on? She brings in a kitten that she found in the wheel well of a truck at her lacrosse tournament. So that had ended up being Jinx. I've wanted a cat for a while, and I was like super excited when she brought her home because I was like, this is a great opportunity for me. And my parents were like, we can't keep her. I'm like, we're gonna drop her off at the shelter. And I was like, no, she's mine now. Like, she's actually mine now. So
I'm an adult now. I graduated college. She's mine now.
yeah, no, literally. So I ended up bringing her back to AU, and she lived with me for the rest of that month that I was there. Met new friends, brought her around in a backpack. But yeah, that's like one of my favorite memories because I was like, I can't believe I found her at a lacrosse event. Like, this was crazy. And we'll get into another one.
I was just gonna say, so like this is just a theme for you now because if you guys haven't seen it, Ellie just played in the USA Lacrosse Experience for Team USA, a sixes event in Indianapolis. And the most recent one of the most recent posts on the USA Women's Lacrosse Instagram is Ellie taking home another cat. So what's going on here?
Okay, so that is Indy. So the lacrosse USA lacrosse team, we all named her Indy because we found her in Indianapolis. So we're getting on the bus for our last game against Great Britain. I'm already on the bus, and all of a sudden I hear Ellie, and like a couple girls were screaming from the front of the bus, and I was like, wait, what's going on? Like, did I forget my stick on the road? Like, did I forget my bag in the lobby? Like, what's going on? And all of a sudden they're holding up a cat, and I was like, heart melted. I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, they're like, what do we do? I was like, what happened? And they were like, so she was in the wheel well of the bus that we were taking. I was like,
Oh,
are you kidding me? So she ended up like yelling. She was like yelling on the wheel. And so they grabbed her, and I was like, all right, if no one else takes her home, she's mine. And so I ended up bringing her back, and yeah, now she's mine. She's Indy. She's great. She's healthy. She's gained a couple pounds because she was really skinny. So she's doing well. But yeah, I have one more cat too. Her name's Juno. So when I like, obviously I'm a coach now, and I had Jinx, and I'm going to be recruiting in the fall. So I would be a week away for like weekends at a time. And so I was getting a little nervous about leaving Jinx alone for that long because I was like, I can't leave. Like, she's not going to get enough enrichment. Like, she'll be fed by someone, but like, that's not enough. Like, she'll be by herself 23 hours of the day. And so I ended up adopting a cat like the weekend, like a couple of days before, like the Saturday before the Tuesday I left for US. So she was brand new. She was brand new. And so,
three cats.
Yeah, I have 3 cats now. So in the span of the last 5 months, I've gained 3 cats. I was catless at the beginning of August. Or
That's
July.
incredible.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So you were thinking about, you're like, oh my gosh, I can't leave them alone. So let's get them a friend. And then all of a sudden 2 friends showed up at the same
And
time.
then I was like, wait, I didn't even need to get Juno. I mean, I love Juno. I'm happy that I have Juno. Like, if I had just waited, I would have already had 2 cats. But now I have 3.
Do they all get along? I'm assuming.
Yeah. Indy's still a little bit scared, and she's like much tinier. Like, Jinx is 5 months, Juno's 4 months, and Indy's like not even 2 months yet. So she's a little tinier. So I get a little nervous. But yeah, they're great. Juno and Jinx are best friends. But Indy is still tiny. So I like try to keep her away because I'm like, I don't know, just in case I'm not here and like she's just so much tinier. But no hissing or anything. It's just kind of like who is this little tiny creature around me? Like the other 2 are saying that in their heads.
My mom is bringing more cats into this house. I don't understand.
Jinx was like, I thought I was going to be an only child my entire life. Now I have 2 friends, but they're all girls, thank God. Because I was like,
Wow.
I have a boy and a girl. Like, I don't know how that dynamic's going to be, but they're all girls. And it's honestly, it's really rare for like red tabbies to be boys. So I was like, oh, like it's going to be a boy. It's going to be a boy. And then the doctor was like, it's a girl, or the vet was like, it's a girl. I was like, yes. I was like, 3 girls. Yeah.
And Indy was a pretty like neutral name, so that worked either way.
Oh,
I love
exactly.
that.
Yeah.
They all have such good stories. I love that.
Mhm.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm glad you're a cat mom of three now. That probably
Yeah.
keeps you nice and cozy, and you have a nice little home and family out
Yes.
in South
In the
Bend now.
garage, yeah.
That's awesome.
Absolutely.
Okay, I want to circle back a little bit here to coaching now. And you mentioned a lot about like how you're just basically surrounded by lacrosse in your family and your extended family all growing up. So I guess like when you think about your, coaching style now and the goals that you have for yourself as a college coach, how does that like relate to, or where do you gain inspiration from, I guess, from some of the people that you grew up around, learning some of the elements of the game or the nuances of the game? How do those kind of like, interact a little bit?
Yeah, it's great. I mean, I was coached by my dad when I was a kid, so I feel like I definitely have a little bit of his coaching in me. And then I was coached by Thorn in high school. She's great, took us to a state championship, won that. So definitely have a little bit of her in me. And then coach, I've learned so much over the past 4 years of him, of like like you hear it all the time, is like gap mentality, pushing seams, like all of those things. I feel like I definitely bring those tidbits of information that I've received from all of those into my coaching style. And I'm learning from Chris so much too, and Colonel. I feel like I'm trying to compile all of my knowledge of lacrosse and like the coaching that I've received and like put it into mine. But it's hard when like you're a new coach to find your coaching voice, which I've heard so much. Colonel's like, oh, your coaching voice sounds better. Or like Chris will be like, you were very commanding today. That was incredible. I was like, thanks, guys. But it's definitely a transition of being like a captain is so much different than being a coach, and like having to like make decisions and like all of that stuff. So finding your coaching voice is definitely one of like the toughest things I've had to overcome, but I think it's definitely getting there. I got a lot of compliments from Chris this week when I was writing the box.
Okay, there you go.
Like it's a great start.
I love that. And that's cool to hear too. I like that you mentioned, right? Like coaching is definitely different than being a captain, but I feel like I've never heard anybody like really like say it like that. But
Yeah.
I think that's a cool way to look at it, because it is, right? You definitely take a lot of the leadership,
Mhm.
styles and things that you might have learned from being a captain and being a leader of so many teams, over your career. But yeah, there's other elements to coaching that like, is probably so much fun to learn and be able to compile from all these different people that you're being inspired by.
Yeah, it's hard because like when you're a captain, you're on the field. So like you're kind of commanding while you're on the field and like walking people through the play. On the sideline, you have to like say it, but like you can't say too much. You can't like run the offense. You're gonna tell the other team, right? So it's like you have to you have to command when it's like it's needed to. And then
Right.
just trust your players, which has been great. Like I feel like again, I keep saying like they're all so bright, but they really are. And it's like it's very easy to trust people that like want to be coached, and I trust them. They know their things. They know
Yeah,
lacrosse. So it's really cool.
that's awesome. I'm excited to follow the season, this upcoming season. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
Um, okay. Tell me a little bit about we talk a lot about on the Dream On pod about like setbacks and successes, like I mentioned, but what do you feel like is something that you feel like might have been one of your setbacks throughout your career that has ultimately led to you kind of like getting back up and finding success? But you had to go through that challenge first in order to find that
Yeah.
mountaintop.
My senior year, I had stress reactions in my shins. So I was ultimately like not able to play for 2 weeks. So I'd end up missing two of my games, which is like really hard for me. It's hard for anyone. I mean, like ACLs are a whole different story. You went through it, like you know that. But like I, knock on wood, haven't had that many injuries. So being my senior year, having to miss those 2 games was really hard for me. And I was like, I feel like I'm being dramatic, but like I've also like never had to go through this. And that was like definitely tough. But I think the biggest takeaway that I got from that was like sometimes it's better to take your foot off the gas in order to like be able to push it forward, right? So like if you're pushing yourself every day and you're pushing through your injury and it's not getting better and you're like, why am I not getting better? It's okay to take a couple weeks or like a couple months off in order to like see those results tenfold in the future. And I think that really settled in for me because I was able to, because of those 2 weeks off that I had, I was able to get through that rest of the season with like little to no pain, and then get through AU with little to no pain. And I would have never had that without just those 2 weeks. And it seems so minuscule being like 2 weeks out, but like it helped me for the next 3 months or so of my career. So yeah.
I think that's really, really, really good advice, because I think exactly what you said too, right? Like injuries, a lot of time we compare to other injuries, right? Or other people or what they've gone through. That doesn't mean it should diminish what you're going through whatsoever, because it's something, you know what I mean? And it's some sort of setback, and it makes you feel some sort of way. And it's something you have to get through. But I think no matter what the scale of the injury, your advice for listening to your body and understanding that it's okay to, I like that, like take your foot off the gas pedal so that your later self will thank you for it. It's another one of those things like we were talking about with the recruiting advice before, right? Like you're not going to see it until like later on and look back and thank yourself, you know?
Yeah.
Right now it sucks to hear, but like you'll thank me later kind of thing. So I'm glad that you were able to like kind of realize that through going through that journey, you know? And I'm also glad you were able to have a really successful end of the season, because we needed that. So
Thanks.
Thanks. We love that. Okay. This is one of a fun little games we like to play here. I'd like to ask you guys like just a little bit of a like a 3-word answer. So it's kind of like asking what your values are as a person, or the values that you look for in other people, teammates, leaders, things like that. So you're going to give me 3 words as your answer. So what are some of the things that you value the most in a person? 3 things.
Okay. Honesty, loyalty, what else? I don't know how to like say this. It's like genuinely, like genuine. I don't know.
Yeah, just a genuine human. Yeah. I like that word. Okay. What about some of the things, the 3 things you value the most in a teammate?
All right. Work ethic, accountability, and compassion.
Good one. I like that one. All right, last one. What are the 3 things you value the most in a leader?
Okay, that's a great one. It's hard to like say the words though. I'm trying to think. Okay,
say it.
All right. Empathy, reliability, and last one, I guess like love, like for the game, for other teammates, for coaches. I guess that would be a great one.
Yeah, I like that. And I like that all of them were a little bit different, but they had like very similar overarching values. It's one of my favorite things to ask people, because everybody like somehow has somewhat of different answers. And it's really cool to kind of get an inside look at like what you value in teammates and leaders and things like that. So okay, last like fun or I guess serious question before we get into the fun, but from a mentor or a special person in your life, like any time in your life, what is one piece of advice that you've taken from that person and you've tried to apply it to your own life?
Definitely my parents. My dad always says this one quote, and he just says, it's so like simple. It's just, this too shall pass. So like when I'm going through something tough, or like when I like fail a test, or I'm like sad about something, he just like reminds me. I'll just send me a text, or like on the phone, I'll just be like, this too shall pass. Like it's okay. Like you'll get through this. It's gonna take time, but like just those simple words are like such a reminder of being like, all right, yeah, like there was one point in my life where I was like, no, it won't, Dad. And then like it did. Right. So I feel like he always says that to me. And that's definitely, I take that with me. Like, even like if I drop my coffee, I'm like, oh, too shall pass. So
that's like a really hard thing to get through.
Exactly.
I get it. Okay, let's flip the script here. So, I mean, there's a lot of young players out there and a lot of people out there who, you know, follow you on social media or know who you are on the lacrosse field, and they look to you for that source of inspiration or for that like kind of words of wisdom, piece of advice that you live by. So what do you hope that those people are taking away from you by just watching you be you in your life?
Do what you love. I feel like this too shall pass is good, but like do what you love. I feel like I go into work every day and I'm happy because I'm doing what I love, whether that be like someone in computer science who likes doing programming, or it's like an accountant who loves numbers. Like they love that. So they go into work every day happy, and then they make the people around them better because they're happy. So I think that's the biggest piece of advice is like do what you love. If you don't love what you're doing, then you're not going to put in 110% of that of like effort. So don't waste your time. Like flip your mind and do what you love.
I love that. That's awesome and really, really important advice. Okay, where do you hope to see our sport in the future? In 5 years, 10 years? I know the Olympics is a big thing, but what are you hoping to see in terms of growth for us?
Yeah, definitely Olympics, definitely way more international teams. I love to see like AU get bigger or like have more professional leagues. Just so that like in like even in like other countries, like I would love for that to be like like lacrosse to just like go off the charts. I love being like trying to grow the game. I think that like US does such a great job in growing the game, and they just did it in Indianapolis. And I heard like I was talking to some of the fans and they were like, there's nothing like this in Indiana. Like we don't get stuff like this. So I think that's like just going to those sites will be huge, just to spread the game, whether it's like Texas, California, Indianapolis, like could even go to Colorado. Like I just think it's important to like spread the game that we love. And I think another shout out is Ellie Masera. I think she's doing such an incredible job with that.
Absolutely. I love that. Okay, what is next in life for Ellie? What are you dreaming about these days, girl?
A natty championship for Notre Dame.
I love it. I love it.
That would be huge. I feel like that's definitely top of my list right now is getting to a national championship with them. Those girls are great. I can't speak more highly of them. Chris is great. But yeah, that's definitely next. Gotta look forward to that.
Last spring season was so much fun to follow on the women's lacrosse side of things in college. So I know it's only going to get better. So yeah, I'm so excited to watch it all. But okay, we have a couple questions from our KO17 fam, and then we're almost done here. This is from Rye Foster. She is one of our KO17 fam members. She'd like to know what's your self-talk if you miss a key shot or make a mistake and you need to get your head back in the game. I know we might have talked about this at AU, me and you a little bit, what you like to do to get your head back in the game.
Yes. Okay. So I'll tell you my first one is like when I was growing up, my dad, another big one is he would say like flush it down the toilet. So like if I had missed a shot, like I would just literally like take my fingers and just like basically like flush the toilet. Like I would just take my hands off my stick or even keep them on and I would just like flush down the toilet. And I think that helps just be like 5-second memory. You can think about it for 5 seconds and then it has to be gone. Like flush it down the toilet, it's gone. But another one more recently is my Summer Friday situation. So I love Summer Fridays. I actually have it with me. I'll show you.
I was gonna say you have to have it with you. There she is.
I have all the flavors. I just got the new hot cocoa one. But like say I need like a reset, like I have like a physical reset. So like this is a physical reset. I like to like physically be like, okay, it's gone, right? So like say like I miss a couple shots and I'm like, wow, I really need to like figure this out. I'll like go to the sideline, get water, and I'll be like, give me my Summer Fridays. And so I'll put my Summer Fridays on. Look good, play good. I feel like that's like the biggest thing for me is just like having those like physical resets of just being like, whether it be like this on the field where I'm like, I'm still on offense, like I need to flush it and like make my next shot. Or it's like, all right, they're on defense, like let me like get a physical reset and like put Summer Fridays on.
I love it. It's so important. And it's like we're laughing because I noticed it as a sideline reporter for AU this summer and I was like, what is she doing there? And then I was like, wait, why is it sitting in the cooler? And you just kept reaching in the cooler for your very cool like lip balm. If you don't know what Summer Fridays is, it's basically like a lip balm. So yeah, she's holding it up for us right here. But I loved the idea behind it, like it's just a lot of times we talk about self-talk and we think about like, okay, yeah, I can tell myself whatever I want, but our brains are so powerful. Like they can, even if I'm telling myself, yeah, flush it down the toilet, think about the next thing, I might not, really listen to it unless I give myself something physical to kind of snap that thought into place.
Absolutely.
Whether that's, flushing down the toilet and making that symbol with your hands or putting on lip balm and just really just kind of saying like, this is my fresh start, this is my fresh canvas kind of thing, whatever it is for you. Like I think that's really cool that you found that. So thanks for sharing that, and thanks for sharing it on national TV too. Okay. This one's from @GraceLaura14 on Instagram. What was the ultimate one deciding factor that made you choose Stony Brook when you were going through the recruiting process?
I think it was the proximity to my family. I think that was like the biggest thing. I mean, I talked about like having my major, like being coached by such great people, but like I think being able to have my family at all of my games was like a huge factor for me because like I said, like my dad coached me when I was in PAL and like all that stuff. So having them and like my mom who gives the greatest hugs in the entire world, being able to hug her after a game was like one of like the biggest things that I needed to have when I went to college.
That's so important, right? Like figuring out what it is that is going to make you not only perform your best when you're playing lacrosse, but just feel the best, right? Like when you're away at school. So asking yourself those questions while you're going through the recruiting process and what you are going to need as a human is really, really important. Okay, this is our last question from our KO17 fam. This is from @live77w on Instagram. How did you become a speed demon? What trainings did you do? I loved this question when I saw this. I was like, speed demon is the perfect description. So speedy on the field. If you've ever watched Ellie Masera highlights, she just zooms in between people and it's just, you really make it look so easy out there. So yeah, can you give us the secret?
Thanks. I do a lot of footwork. I train with Golden, who is at Peak Fitness in Deer Park, and he is like a mentor to me. He like coaches the mental game as much as the physical game, but a lot of footwork, a lot of change of direction, a lot of short stuff. I actually like another thing, I train in socks. So instead of like wearing cleats, I'll train in socks to train my feet to like slow up when it's supposed to be slowed and like fix my form. So I'm not like overcompensating on my feet for my cleats. I think that definitely helped me a lot with just like teaching myself the right way to change direction, because if you're wearing cleats, you can sometimes like rely too much on the cleats. So training in socks was like really beneficial for me.
That's cool. I've never heard of that. I've heard of it for lifting and other forms of working out, but the fact that you do it for your cutting, that's really awesome. And different and unique, and obviously it's working for you. So good question, Nayla. I love it. All right, last segment here. This is called quick finishes. Some people give me rapid fire answers. Some people have to explain their answers for 2 minutes. It's totally up to you. It's whatever you're feeling. But what we're gonna do here is just learn a little bit about you off the field. So, what is your favorite sweet tooth treat?
Ice cream, more specifically rainbow cookie ice cream from Ice Cream Cottage, which is like my local ice cream shop. Yeah, see, I'm more of like an explainer.
I was gonna no. I was gonna say more specifically, but then every specific detail from this specific place. That's awesome. Yeah. I love that. What is the best TV show in your opinion?
I would say Gossip Girl. I'm a big Gossip Girl. So
classic. What is or who is one of your favorite athletes to follow for inspiration?
Such an easy one is Caitlin Clark. She's like such a dog. I love her. She's great.
Yeah, that is an easy one right now, but seriously, such a dog is a good way to explain it too. She's so much fun to watch. What is your go-to breakfast meal?
Yogurt with granola and sometimes either strawberries or blueberries.
Love it. Mine used to be yogurt with chocolate chips.
That's delicious.
Beach or mountains?
This is such a hard one. Like such a hard one.
I thought it was gonna be easy for you.
I know, because I love the beach, but I also like just love the mountains. Yeah. I have to say beach, but I love the mountains too.
I have to say beach because it's predictable because I'm from Long Island and I have to.
Exactly.
I love it. What is your favorite jersey number to rep and why?
12, 100%, 112%. I always like when I'm speaking, I'll be like, oh, I did that like 12 times. It's just like in my brain, like automatically. Why my Uncle John, he was a firefighter, his number is 12. He helped with 9/11 pickup and would bring families that like lost loved ones to the site. And the air was so bad there that he ended up having like a heart condition from it and he ended up passing away. So I do that in memory of him. So yeah, it's like a good reminder.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's really sweet. Are you a morning person or a night owl?
Night owl, 100%.
Like wake up early in the morning?
I have to like train myself too. It's really bad.
Okay, last but not least, one thing on your bucket list.
Use my passport and get out of the country for once.
I love that. Well, okay, so if
Full
you
circle.
where would you go? Like if you had the rest of the month off, where would you go right now with your new passport?
Greece, London, Italy, all
Europe.
the things. Yeah,
Get this
Europe.
girl to Europe.
Literally get me to Europe. And then like maybe like Canada or something. I don't know. That's an easy one.
Oh, I love it. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. So many good little tidbits of like wisdom here. And I can't thank you enough for, coming to hang out on the Dream On podcast today, telling a little bit of your story and your whys and yeah, giving us some inspiration. I know that everybody listening is gonna really love this episode and take some really good pieces of inspiration from you here today. So thank you so much. You're not only an incredible player and someone I'm really proud to say we went to the same program and we played for the same program with. But yeah, I'm just really excited for your future and your present as well. So thank you all.
Thanks. And thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. Like loved spending this hour and so with you. Miss you so much.
Oh, I know. Hopefully see you soon. That's
Yeah.
all for the Dream On podcast, everybody. We'll see you next time.